The moon bathed the palace floor in silver as Scheherazade continued her tale. King Shahryar listened, captivated by the tale within a tale, and the mystery behind the four-colored fish.
The Sultan stood before the youth, whose body was stone from the waist down, and asked him, "Tell me, young man, what happened to you? And why are the fish in the lake of four colors? Why is this city silent and lifeless?" The youth bowed his head and said, "O king, my story is a strange one, and the sorrow of it lies heavy on my heart. Know then, I was once the king of this very land. What you see now as silence and ruin was once a land of gardens, towers, and joy. I was young, but I ruled wisely, beloved by my people. And I had a wife, beautiful beyond compare, whom I loved dearly, but she betrayed me. One day, I discovered that she was in love with a slave from our court. I could not believe it at first. I spied upon her, and what I saw struck my soul like a dagger. I was consumed with grief, but rather than act in rage, I planned with care. I waited until she had gone to the slave. Then I took my sword and crept upon them. I struck the slave down where he lay, but I did not kill him. No, I thought that death was too simple. Instead, I wounded him horribly and carried him to a secret chamber beneath the palace. There I imprisoned him, ensuring his suffering would be long. Then I returned to her and feigned ignorance. But women, especially clever ones, are not easily fooled. She waited until I was asleep that night. Then she rose, muttered words over my body, and I awoke half turned to stone. She cursed me to live like this, partly man, partly marble, trapped in my throne, unable to walk or rule, while she took the reins of the kingdom for herself. Worse, her magic went further. She transformed the people of my capital into fish, those in the lake you saw. Each color you saw represents 1/4 of the city: red for the people of the fire quarter, blue for those of the water quarter, white for the air dwellers, and yellow for those of the earth. Then she destroyed the rest palaces, towers, mosques, and left only silence and stone. Each day she visits the wounded slave in his chamber. She believes I cannot hear or feel her actions. But I can. I hear everything. I feel every betrayal. And yet I am helpless." The Sultan's heart burned with rage and pity. He said, "Take heart. I shall restore you. Lead me to the chamber." And so the young king gave him the path, and the Sultan followed it until he reached the room deep beneath the palace. There he found the slave, moaning on a bed, his body torn and broken. Not long after, the queen entered. The Sultan hid. She wept beside the slave, blaming fate, not herself. The Sultan emerged suddenly. Before she could react, he raised his sword and struck her down. Then he returned to the young king and said, "She is gone. Her spell must now be broken." As the first light of dawn broke across the ruined land, the stone cracked and fell from the young king's body. He stood, whole once more. The sky seemed to breathe again. They hurried to the lake, where the fish slept joyfully from the water, and then, before their eyes, the water receded, the colors faded, and the people returned to their human forms, bewildered but alive. The city revived with their return. Minarets rose from the dust, fountains gushed again, and the birds sang once more. The Sultan stayed 3 days, celebrating with the young king and his people. When he finally departed, he took the fisherman with him and gave him a generous home, a lifetime of gold, and a title in the court.
And thus ends the tale of the enchanted fish and the king of the Black Islands. Scheherazade paused. King Shahryar was silent for a long moment. And then he said softly, "What else lies in your treasury of stories, O Scheherazade?" And she smiled.